Hello everyone and welcome to the top 10 swimsuit characters on Bleach Brave Souls. Over the years we've gotten quite a few of these, and now it's to the point that I can make a legit top 10 list. So that said, let's get started.
心配には及びません。水無月。
Now to start things off, we have the only OG swimsuit character on this list, Retsu Nahana. Though I'm not gonna lie, it was actually pretty close. In fact, if it wasn't for their upcoming resurrections, Byakuya would be at number 10. So I guess I'm kinda cheating with this one since the resurrection characters aren't out for a few days. Still, out of all the OG characters, she has the highest SP, not to mention that once resurrected, she's the only one that keeps her berserker. It may only be at 10, but this is significant since she also has Frenzy. Some of the other OG swimsuit characters also have both berserker and Frenzy, but as I mentioned, she's the only one that keeps it once resurrected. Plus her strong attack 1 is a heal move, and while she didn't have medic before, once resurrected she does. Not to mention her bruiser goes from being a plus 20 to a plus 30, and when she gets resurrected she actually gets a strong attack recharge link, so she'll be able to use her strong attacks more frequently. When all is said and done, she's actually a pretty decent support character that can heal herself with her link, and the rest of the teams with her strong attacks and her special. She may not be the most fun out of the OG characters, but she's definitely the most useful.
さあ、本気出すわよ。いっけー！
At number 9, we have the swimsuit version of Ryuga, who despite being 2 years old now is actually pretty decent. She's got a really high attack as well as a plus 40 bruiser and a plus 20 nadlink, and she's ranged so she can deal all this from a distance. She's also got pretty decent strong attacks that are meant for pushing enemies back, and they have pretty good range. This combination of high attack and pushback strong attacks actually means that she's pretty decent for autoing, plus the fact that she's human means that there's no killer that's good against her, at least when it comes to PvE right now anyway. She would be my go-to auto choice, but she's not a bad option. That said, she does have a captain killer which definitely holds her back, but it doesn't mean that she can't deal damage. Finally, we have Ryuga's special that's actually really hard hitting despite not having a really high SP. She has bombardment as well as weakened defense, so giving her a Tenshintai would mean that her special would be dealing more than 4 times damage thanks to the weakened defense. Just keep in mind that if you want the killer special, you're gonna have to give up a chappy.
仰せのままに。いかがでしょう。
Next up is the character with the least skipped special, Nemu, who believe it or not is actually really fun. Nemu's a hybrid character with a decent attack, though less than stellar SP, but she does have a plus 30 bruiser and a plus 40 berserker. Both her strong attacks and her normal attack have great range, and her strong attack 2 is a heal move, that not only heals her but the entire team. Plus she's got a stamina recovery soul trait, and the combination of this and her healing move make her a fairly decent character to auto with, since she can constantly heal herself. Finally, we have Nemu's special, which not only deals damage but also inflicts burn. It's not debilitating burn, but it can still help drain enemies of their health. Honestly, she's a really great character, and the only thing that kind of holds her back is her stats. Maybe a little bit till we see her resurrected, but until then she stays at number 8.
せーの。気持ちいい。と、行きましょう。
Coming in at number 7 is the swimsuit version of Nell, one of my favorite characters in this game to use, as it actually feels like you can constantly spam her strong attacks. She not only has a really high SP, but also Frenzy. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean as well as Frenzy. I'm aware of the joke. But she also has a boosted strong attack recharge link of 14%. The reason I say it feels like you can spam her strong attacks is because her strong attack 2 has kind of a long animation. This is because it's a vortex move and she's kind of dancing the entire way through. While you can flash step and interrupt it, if you leave it, she's actually immune from taking damage. And believe it or not, it's because of this that she's actually a really good character to auto with. You just have to build her correctly. Her strong attack 2 is not only a vortex move with iframes, but it can also inflict burn. And thanks to the frenzy, it doubles the possibility of doing so. The other strong attacks also have really good range, and so does her special since it's full screen. That said, it's one of the weaker specials in the game, as she doesn't even have devastation going for her. Still, as unfortunate as that is, she's still a great character to use, and a really unique one as well thanks to the invincibility.
水の戦いで私に勝てるとでも思ったか。そこで永遠に夏を満喫していろ。
Coming in at number 6 is a spot at number 3, Swimsuit Halibut, who has a really high SP as well as a strong attack recharge link and frenzy. This is actually really good for her because her strong attack 3 is a charge move that doubles in strength when fully charged. Unfortunately though, it's not full screen, but it does have really good range. Her other strong attacks also have decent range and are pretty quick to activate. Holly also has a decent attack stat and a pretty quick NAD. That said, she's only got a plus 20 bruiser, so I wouldn't rely on it too much. To top everything off, she's also completely immune to freezing. I honestly wish I could say a bit more about this character, but there's not much more to say. The takeaway from her is she hits like a tank, and she refuses to be summoned by me.
水を味方につけた隠密起動の恐ろしさ味わうといいフラッシュ B!
Next on the list, we have the swimsuit version of SOI Fon, more specifically the one that came out last year. She's got a really high attack as well as a plus 20 NAD link and a plus 50 bruiser, meaning she increases her own damage output by 70%. She also has a plus 40 devastation, though not that high of an SP, so her strong attacks are still not going to deal that much damage. That said, her strong attack 1 and her strong attack 3 do have a chance to inflict debilitating paralysis, and her strong attack 2 is a long-lasting vortex move. So despite them doing not that much damage, they're still gonna come in handy. This SOI Fon, much like the rest, also has an extended number of flash steps, though unfortunately she doesn't have long stride. Still, it's useful for traveling areas fast and avoiding specials from enemies. Speaking of which, her own special inflicts debilitating paralysis to the enemies, though it also doesn't deal that much damage. Overall, she's just a really good character, and one that you should definitely be happy with if you get her this year.
楽しかった。また一緒に来ようよ。ね。
Next on the list is this year's iteration of Swimsuit Orihime. Why we got her 2 years in a row is beyond me, but it doesn't take away from the fact that she's really good. She's got one of the highest SPs in the game, as well as frenzy, and a strong attack recharge link, which she puts to really good use, as all of her strong attacks do a lot of damage and have really good range. She's also got a really fun normal attack. It has good reach and is really quick. That said, it doesn't deal that much damage since her attack isn't that high, and she's only got a plus 20 bruiser. This Orihime also has one of the best specials in the game, as it not only does a lot of damage due to her high SP and plus 40 devastation, but it also inflicts weakened defense, dealing even more damage to the enemies, and leaving any enemy that survives it with weakened defense. Plus, it also heals the entire team, and has a chance to instant kill the enemy. This is basically Mangaretsu's special, except this does a lot more damage and inflicts weakened defense. With all this said, this character does have a major drawback, and that's in her killer. She's got a human killer, and at the time of this recording, that is the worst possible killer to have, as it really only affects bosses, and unlike other killers like Espada or Captain that only affect bosses, this only increases damage by 20%. Now who knows, maybe they add some other enemies that are human, and this actually becomes a good killer, but at the time of this recording, it's really not, and it's almost as if she doesn't have a killer at all.
よーし、頑張るよ。オリ姫必殺ウォーターアタック。
Next on the list is another swimsuit Orihime, but this time it's the one from last year. She not only has a really high attack, but also a plus 40 bruiser and a plus 20 full stamina damage link, which she can easily maintain thanks to her being ranged and having a strong attack 2 that's a barrier move. This not only helps protect herself, but also the entire team, and it can also deal a decent amount of damage. She does have a plus 30 berserker, and again that full stamina damage link, which would increase her overall damage output for her strong attacks by 50%. This would be especially useful for her strong attack 1 as it's a 180 mag. More importantly though, this strong attack 1 pushes enemies back, which is a really good thing for a ranged character to have. She's also got a full screen strong attack 3, as well as a killer special. Much like the last Orihime, this one can also inflict defense weakening, but unlike the last one, this one has bombardment. And thanks to a full stamina damage link, it does even more damage. You really shouldn't chappy this character. Orihime also has a good killer, unlike the last one, and the combination of her Soul Reaper killer and the fact that she's a human means that she's really good for autoing. It is a little bit weird that this one ends up being better than the new one, but it should make people happy to pull her this year if they weren't able to do it last year.
開放的になったわしの力はこんなものではないぞ。どうじゃ。
Next on the list is Yoruichi Shihoin, who, much like most of the other characters on this list, has a really high SP as well as Frenzy. She's also got the best kit out of anyone on this list. She's got a full screen Strong Attack 3, a Strong Attack 2 that's a vortex move that pushes enemies back and hits multiple times, and a pushback Strong Attack 1 that also hits a ridiculous number of times. Both her Strong Attack 1 and her Strong Attack 2 help to rapidly increase the combo and have a very high chance of inflicting debilitating weakening. The rest of her attacks also have a chance to inflict a debilitating weakening, which in turn lets Yoruichi deal even more damage. Yoruichi also has a Strong Attack recharge link, so you can basically build her in a way that lets you spam all these moves. She's also ranged, so you can do it all from a distance, and she's completely immune to being slowed, something that doesn't come up often, but is still nice to have. She's also got a piercing ranged normal attack, and like SOI Fon, an extended sprinter, though much like SOI Fon, no long stride there either. In all honesty, she would be number 1 if it wasn't for her killer. Granted, the no affiliation killer is becoming a lot more frequent, what with it actually being in inheritance zones and droplet zones, but it's still not a great killer to have. Still, it doesn't take away from the fact that she's an amazing character, and who knows, if the no affiliation killer becomes more common, I might actually have to make some edits to this list.
眼中の野郎には任せておけねえ。柴家秘伝の一撃だ。とくと見やがれ。
And at number 1 we have Kukaku Shiba, which is something I never thought I'd get to say, but I'm super glad I did. She has a really high SP of 774, and she also has Frenzy. In addition to this, she's got a strong attack damage link, so her strong attacks are going to deal a ton of damage. In addition to this, her normal attack as well as her strong attacks can all deal debilitating paralysis, and her strong attack 2 is a vortex move, so it's very likely to do so. She's also got a lunge move strong attack 1, and a strong attack 3 that has really good range, though it's not exactly full screen. Kukaku also has a really fast normal attack, as she can attack fairly quickly and it's got really good range. Much like Yoruichi and Orihime, this character is also completely immune from being slowed, but unlike those two, she's actually got a good killer. Hers is an Arankar killer, and you can bet it's gonna come up way more than no affiliation or human. Plus, thanks to the fact that she's no affiliation, you can pretty much take her anywhere without the threat of someone having a no affiliation killer, since at least at the time of this recording, that's not really a thing yet in PvE. Honestly, her and Yoruichi were really close. They're both exceptional characters, but Kukaku does have the better killer, and that's why she's at number 1. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more top 10 lists.